In the lone WNBA game of the night, the Connecticut Sun will look to snap a two-game losing streak when they welcome Jewell Loyd and the Seattle Storm to Mohegan Sun Arena. It's been a rough go of it for Seattle, who enters this one with a record of 4-12, including 3 straight losses. However, Jewell Loyd is averaging a league best nearly 29 points per game. And before we welcome him in, let us tell you about the king of the W, Calvin Wetzel. Not only does he hit first basket props at plus 550, but Calvin went 5-0 last night with his picks here on Sportsline. Calvin hit the dream money line along with 4 player props for a very profitable night. Without further ado, let's welcome in Sportsline WNBA wagering analyst, the king of the W, Calvin Wetzel. Calvin, hell of a night that you had last night. Let's keep this going today, starting with the Storm at the Sun. The Sun are laying 10.5 at home. They have dropped their last 2 games, but those games have really come at the hands of the best teams in the league, the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, I think 10.5 is too much here for the Storm. You know, the Storm are in rebuilding mode, 4-12, like you said, but they have looked really competitive against everyone outside of that Liberty Aces super team tier. Now, obviously, a road matchup against the Sun is the toughest matchup in the league outside of those 2 teams. But like I said, double digits is still too much. The Sun had a lead at halftime in the last matchup between these 2 teams and really played them close all game. That was with Bree Jones in the lineup, the Sun all-star center who got hurt at the very end of that game, out for the season now. So without her, we should see an even more competitive game, and you might get a better line live. You know, the Storm might start a little bit slow, so look to a live line if it gets to 12 or 13 early at some point too, because the Storm, with all those rookies, they are very pesky, and even if we do get a little bit of garbage time in the fourth quarter, you could get a backdoor cover here as well.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Storm. Like, even though they have a lot of young talent, they are scrappy and they never give up. Now, looking at the over-under for the total points in this Storm-Sun game, it's 166.5. The last time these 2 teams played, they combined for 164, although, as you mentioned, Brianna Jones was in that game, as well as Dejanay Carrington, who will not be in this one, both of them. So what is your top wager on a total, Calvin?
So I'm actually going to pivot to the second half here. If you watch me on here, you know I love pivoting to half totals and finding these spots. The Sun are a faster team without Bree Jones in those last few games, so I do think we're going to get a lot of points. But like I said, I would be a little bit worried about a slow Storm start on the road in this environment. So I would look towards the second half, and especially if the Storm are going to cover plus 10.5, hopefully they'll be close enough again to sort of play that foul game, get a lot of points in the last minute of this game, which is going to help the fourth quarter total, help the second half total. So you can get it pregame at Caesars over 82.5, or obviously hit live at halftime, that live over if you're feeling like it's a fast-paced game at any book, the live halftime over. I'll take the second half over in this one.
All right, time to get things propping like a Wetzel pretzel. Are those still in malls, by the way?
They are.
Oh, okay.
I had one a few weeks ago.
Okay, good. Hey, good pretzels, but not as good as your bets are. Calvin, where have you found the best value for us in the prop market?
I'm looking at Ezi Magbagor, the Storm center. She's over 14.5 points is her line on most books. She's over this in 4 of her last 5, 6 of her last 8. She gets a great matchup with the Connecticut Sun, who have gone small without Bree Jones, who we talked about. They've replaced her in the starting lineup with Beck Allen, who is more of a 3-and-D wing, so really going with a smaller lineup, faster, but they're also giving up more points inside. In that span, since Bree Jones has been out the last 4 games, second most points in the paint allowed in the entire league. Ezi had 13 the last time these 2 teams played, even with Bree on the court, and Jewell Loyd dropped over 30 on the Sun in that game, so I think the Sun are going to key in a little bit more on stopping the Gold Mamba, open things up for Ezi, and Ezi only needs 1 more bucket than she got last time. I think we get it, so I would take her over 14.5.
All right, if you're taking it, then so am I. Thank you so much to Calvin. Recapping his pick, he's taking the Storm plus the 10.5. Says it's just too many points to give. He's also liking the second half over 82.5, minus 105. And he's taken Ezi over 14.5 points at minus 113.